Good Monday morning, everyone. Good Monday morning. It's so nice to see you. Welcome to the Smart Life Club. This is the Coffee Break Show. I'm Vicki Helm, and I'm so glad you're here. Listen, if you're new here and you've never been here before, we share inspiration and insights and motivation and news, and we give each other support in ways to help us have a more productive week, to have a success rate that is higher than normal, and to help us thrive. We know that a rising tide lifts all boats, and it's Monday. Monday's the start where the boats go out to water. I'm so excited that you're here with us today. And I just want to let you know that today's a serious conversation. But if you're new here, put your name down below. Put your name down below so I know that I can meet you. And if you're here this morning, good morning. I see you popping on. Do me a favor and comment. If you're on YouTube, welcome. We've gone to YouTube Live, and we have, started going live. I don't know. We don't actually know what we're doing with it. We're just doing this all together and having fun. And so today it's been an interesting weekend. And of course, today I actually made myself some notes because we have some data and things to go over. I'm curious as to how many people are going to be watching this video because so much of it is not available on there. Good morning, everyone. Hey, Scott. There is that smile. Thank you. Hang on. Good morning, everyone, said Donnie. Hi, everyone, said a bunch of people coming on. I'm so glad that you're here today. We are going to do a coronavirus update. And really what we want to do is tell you what you can do, what you want to watch out for, what you want to keep tabs of. But right now, I am speaking about it today because this weekend something happened that hasn't happened in the history of the world, which was that 760 million people are on lockdown right now in China. 760 million. Now, I want you to think about that because everyone knows that China's population is over 1 billion. And the only other country that has over 1 billion is in India. Hi, this is I'm sorry, I hope I say this right. Geetha Krishnan. Nice to see you on. Thank you for being here. Do me a favor and tell me a little bit about yourself, where you've been, but we're going to talk about the coronavirus right now and what you can do about it. And so I made some notes, but I want to get to the point where you understand that locking down 760 million people. Now, let's just think about this for a second. There are 330 million people in the United States. That means they took 2 United States. Here's United States 1, and that's 330 million. Then United States 2, that's 330 million. So what do we have? 660 million. They have locked down 100 million more people. Their economy is completely stopped, and people are running out of water and food and supplies and things like that because it's an indefinite lockdown right now. People are not free to roam about the country because of the virus being so virulent. And so I've been watching and studying and looking at this for a long-term process. We have to look at what China is going to do. What's the next steps? It's such a open book right now to watch what's happening. So they lock down people. They're controlling the internet right now. They're not letting people can't just put out the real story of what they're seeing. Every blue moon, a video escapes out of China that is produced from a civilian, if you will. A civilian will produce the video and it gets out. And today, this morning, this one video got out. I'm not sure how. I don't know what they're doing to get it out, but it was on Twitter, and it was a guy filming down the roads where you can see the homeless people they're just dead right now. So there is a lot of calamity here. Now, the pandemic is moving around the world. It's definitely in its infancy stages in several places. And as we've seen from the cruise ships, it's moving. But I believe that I like to be a proactive person. I believe that sometimes the proactive person is that person who's, the person who is the safest. That's the person that is, God helps those who help themselves kind of people. Good morning, Marie Jo. Nice to see you. Good morning, Robin. Nice to see you. Nice to see everybody popping on. So what happens when we get together and we have a conversation about it? One of my dear friends, I told him last night while we were talking yesterday or over the weekend, I told him that I felt like I was kind of being a bit of a wimp, a bit of a coward, not saying what I actually want to say about the coronavirus because it's not a Pollyanna situation. It's not very uplifting. It's not a very, easy topic to talk about. And so Donnie and I were talking and he said, well, at least tell them what they can do then. At least tell them what can happen. So we have about 3 weeks. And I don't know about you, but I think the question that has to be asked is, do you think our government is going to be as honest or more honest than the Chinese government about reporting cases, about reporting numbers, about our plan? Do we have a plan? Have they said what plan they have for us? Do we have an idea of what we need to do to take care of ourselves? Well, here's what I know. I know that when the first city of Wuhan was overwhelmed by this incident, this virus, everything stopped. The EMS was overworked. The hospitals were overworked. The police, they're still, all of these things they're overworked. There's a point where they can't handle all of the cases that are happening there. Now, do I know whether anywhere else in the world is going to be like this? I can only watch. I can't speculate, but I can say this is not speculation. You will feel the repercussions of whatever's happening. I'm not a doctor, so I can't speculate whether I think the world is going to have an epidemic or a pandemic, but I think it's already there. I think when you lock down 760 million people and you stop working, you have no revenue coming in as a country. There are no taxpayers running. So it's serious when they stop all the McDonald's and they stop all the Starbucks and they stop the factories. And the issue is that China is like the department store of the world. The department store of the world. You go to China and you order online. Everything gets made in China, gets shipped around the world. They are the department store that creates the products that you buy on Amazon, that you buy at Walmart, that you buy at Target, that you buy at Kmart. They are the producer of those goods. And that means, how long does a grocery store have of goods and services in a storm? They say, well, they have about 3 days worth of backup. And in 3 days, a grocery store can be completely empty inside of the time that the storm starts. So the storm started when Lu Li, the doctor, the hero doctor that was thrown in jail for telling the truth about the virus, he died. And he warned the world December 26th. So the virus has 14 days. So we're going to go back December, I don't know, 10th, 15th. He started seeing so many cases. He made a statement there. Then he went to jail. So we have part of December. We have all of January. And we're now into February. We're getting into that February month. And in those 10 to 12 weeks, it's not even 10 to 12 weeks, look how many cases of the virus has shown up. It's very virulent. So right now, the idea is, how long will our supply chains last? Some of them are being disrupted right now. Like Japan just closed the factory in Nissan because it can't get parts from China. So because China is kind of like the blood vessel of the world that ships everywhere, the proactive thing to do, hey, Brandon, nice to see you. The proactive thing to do would be then to look at what it is that you need to do now. And if you watch what's happening in China, you'll see what's happening, what products are going out first. So, for instance, toilet paper and feminine products are a big deal right now in China because they're not being made, they're not being shipped, you can't go buy them. And so, what's happening with the supply chain and the economy, because their economy is the second largest economy to us, and it is affecting them. So, there are going to be some interesting things to watch for right now so that you can be proactive about what's going to probably have a domino effect all around the world. It's just going to be a domino effect. And what can you do to make things a little easier for yourself? Karen says, I appreciate Vicky Helm. She'll be honest and bold without being a fearmonger. That's correct. Thank you very much for that. Robin says, China is our manufacturing partner. We have no idea the depth of the products that come from China and how and when this will ultimately affect our standard of living, whether we have the virus here in the US or not. And it's true because, we had that housing collapse in 2008. And it bounced around the world. The repercussions of it bounced everywhere. Brandon says hello to everyone. Hey, Brandon. Nice to see you on, buddy. Let's see. Jane Goodhart. Good morning, Jane. Nice to see you. Good topic. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm glad that you're with it. Most people think this is a topic that's overblown, etc. So when you get to the point where you have a full lockdown of a country, and it's twice the size of the United States. It's even larger. They have more people than if we had two United States put together. They've locked down even 100 million more people than that. And let that sink through your head. Let's say right now that your life was on lockdown. And if your life was on lockdown, imagine how it would be to be a month or 6 weeks just not being able to leave your apartment except maybe once a week for an hour. It's very, very difficult. So what is it that people are running out of? They're running out of toilet paper is the biggest fight. And I'm going to ask you to educate yourself about what is going on in China, because I think that any country that has a huge epidemic of this is going to be doing the same thing. I think the governments don't want you to panic, so they may not be telling you all of the details you need to know, or what's in your neighborhood, or if there are things not being reported. And that means that you have to be your own hospital. You have to be your own doctor. I watched a guy say it was like going back from 2020 to 1920 overnight. And I was thinking about that, from 2020 to 1920 overnight. And what was there in 1920? Well, there wasn't grocery stores. You had to grow your own food. You had to be your own medicine. It was very herbal medicine, and you had to take care of yourself. So here is some things we put together this weekend that we want to be able to share with you. And I've asked my team to put links inside the description when we talk about them. If you can get extra food and extra toilet paper, and if you're still in your cycle, ladies, please get your extra stuff right now. It's going to be the least expensive right now than it will be later, because supply and demand is going to be the name of the game right now. The supply and demand. Now, the supplies are going to start shrinking, and as the supplies shrink, the prices for the items go up. That's just the nature of the beast. So at that point, right now is the least expensive you're going to buy anything. It's going to cost the least. And you're going to start seeing stuff that you don't expect, that you do not expect, go up in price or be not available, such as electronics, electronic componentry and parts, anything that's made in a factory where the assembly is in China or it's made in China is going to grow short. So electronic components, that's why Nissan had to shut down. They had one component that was made in China and they couldn't get a hold of it. So they couldn't work. They couldn't make cars. One component. So if you have prescription drugs, if you're any kind of prescription drug user, absolutely every prescription, so much pharmacy is made in China. So in that made in China thing, it's like if you can get an extra, I don't know, set of your type 2 diabetes stuff. I don't know. I don't take anything, but I do take multivitamins and a backup store of whatever you have. And I'm very lucky. I purchased from an American company who makes American products. And if you want to know where I get my multivitamins and everything else from, just IM me and I'll send you a link there so you can take a look at where I shop. But I shop at a place that is non-toxic. Nothing is toxic at all. I don't let that stuff in my house. I go ahead and put the non-toxic things and I have my vitamins and everything else set up. But also FEMA and Robin just put it in there. FEMA has what your family needs in its emergency supply kit. We just put that inside the side over here so you can, or down below, you can look at the link and get the link right now. So in 1920, they used to grow their own food, and I don't know how the supply chain for food is going to be affected. But what I do know is how to be proactive about creating and growing my own food. And I don't mean get a garden because right now it's wintertime. And what if you needed food tomorrow? I mean, what if you need food tomorrow? Well, there are foods that you can grow in your home, that grow very fast. And they're sprouts, and sprouts hold a boatload of nutrition. They hold a boatload. I don't want to go into how great sprouts are, but if you can grow sprouts or microgreens, you can go to, Robin, will you put a link in there to something like True Leaf? Put True Leaf in there. You can learn about growing sprouts and greens and stuff at home, on your counter, in your house right now. And in 28 days, you could have some vegetables that have not been shipped. They haven't been touched by another person. You know that they're clean, healthy, and safe in your house right now. And it's really inexpensive to do. It is pennies compared to what you buy in the grocery store and the prices that food is going to be, because the price of food is going to go up. Also, for those people, Karen has put up all the emergency food stuff that you can get at Costco. You can go there and buy backup emergency food. The link is right in that. We have the links for you right down below. I wanted to be able to take what Donnie told me, and he said, at least tell them what they can do. At least give them some ideas of what they can do. So I'm going to tell you my opinion. I think that my opinion needs to be understood first, that I am not a doctor, nor have I ever been a physician. I'm a, civilian, if you will, just like that. I think this is probably one of the most serious incidences we can go through as a planet. I don't think it's fake. I don't think it's overblown. I think it's underreported by the media. I know that in the beginning I was like, well, let's see what's happened, because I know there's more food. And even if this virus thing was a hoax, which I do not believe it is, the fact that 760 million people on the planet right now are in lockdown makes it more serious or real. And if you understand the Chinese pride, their work ethic is extraordinarily high. These people would rather be in their factories working, and they would rather be living their daily lives as they have in the past. If a government is putting an entire place on lockdown, that's 760 million people not working, imagine what that would do to their economy. And there is no government. Governments love money. They love taxpayers. They do not want to stop their gravy train from rolling. That's how governments run. They don't have anybody, that is working right now to pay for the emergency services that are happening. And they are literally stopping the flow of their economy. That's what makes this a clue of how serious it is. When the second largest economy in the world says stop, then you need to know that there's something happening in the world. When the United States, if you look at the news or you listen to the news and you hear the words voluntary lockdown, then that's a big sign, because like any other government, the United States loves money too. We love our cash flow. We want our taxpayers out there doing it. And we suddenly began to use the word voluntary lockdown happening in this place and this place and this place. You're going to want to pay attention. And so get some extra toilet paper, get some extra food, figure out how to grow your own food in just that way right now. I mean, if you can get to the point where you have some systems in place. Let's say it's not the coronavirus. Let's say it's an earthquake, or it's a flood, or it's a whatever. If you have some things in place right now, you're being proactive about what you can do. And it's so important right now. And you guys are talking a mile a minute. So I'm just going to go over here and look. Robin Helm, disclaimer, Vicki is not a physician scientist. She is making recommendations to help others be prepared. That is correct. I want you to know I'm sharing with you in a way. I am not telling you what's real. You need to decide that for yourself. I would have extra water. I would have extra food. I would know how to make sprouts, because it's, the planting season. Even if you plant, you have 90 to 100 days or 120 days before it bears fruit. You need something quick and nutritious. Sprouts are very easy and super fast, super inexpensive. You can go look at a YouTube video and say, how do I make sprouts at home? And boom, it'll be there. Karen says, I also believe protecting yourself is important. If you already have a weapon, stock up on ammo. Important. If you purchase a weapon, you must take a class to be trained. That's right. CCW classes are offered anywhere you want to be. I'm an ex-cop, so I'm not going to disagree with you at all. I actually think that is a rite of passage that we have as an American. That is something I take a lot of pride in being able to have with me, my Second Amendment right. And Robin says, I love this company too. They have a great customer service and selection. As I look over the snow piled on the back deck, it makes me happy to think about growing food. Yep, absolutely true. So what I want to say while we're listening to this is everybody wants to know, is it going to happen in this country? Isn't going to happen in this country? I don't know. Is it happening already? I don't know. But I do know this. I'm a proactive person. And whether it's the flu or an earthquake or a fire, or I want to be just prepared, because we are moving into the place. Life happens. Tons of life happens right now. And I think preparing to be flexible means having some things in place that are actually simply just for you, so that you can have peace of mind. Because the object is to be able to think clearly when things happen. And when you're prepared, you have less stress. But what you're able to do is pay attention. Pay attention to the news, pay attention. And to me, what the news says and what the citizens are just filming live is as important. If they're filming live and the news is going there, you'll be able to see the attitude or the consciousness or what's really happening. This is very huge right now. 760 million people are in lockdown. That is enormous. It's never happened in history. And how long can they stay in lockdown? They've already been in lockdown. Some people have already been in lockdown a month. And that's like being in jail at home. So what's going to happen? I don't know, but I think it is the most important 2 or 3 weeks that we can begin to pay attention to what's happening in our country, in our world. Where are the cases going up? And to me, if you're going to be in lockdown right now, prepare and have a couple of great books. Make sure you have your Kindle down there, or stuff that you're going to do to entertain yourself. Make sure you have backup any kind of prescriptions, anything else. So what is also there for me is that it's going to be super important to keep your sanity if you're ever in that kind of, thing happening. Knock on wood. I hope that you never have to go through that. Nor, neither do I. Um, you can do, Karen says, take a moment to Google the virus updates, and she has a link there for you so that you can just watch it happen. Now, why am I doing this on this Monday? Well, I'm going to continue doing these coronavirus updates until we're in the safe zone, until I think, okay, this is becoming a non-issue. And if it's becoming an issue, I'm going to say more. And so, even if the coronavirus never hits your area, this preparedness will benefit you for any emergency, said Karen. You can always use the resources later. And by the way, the prices of stuff are going to go up as the demand goes. So right now, whether the virus is there or not, factories haven't been running for weeks. And ports of call have been closed down, like they usually from Shanghai and Shenzhen and Beijing. All of the ports along China, they're not shipping out or letting in. And so right now you can look at pictures of the ports and there's just cargo ships all over the bay. They can't get in to drop stuff off and they're not going to open it. It's right now too dangerous. So nothing is moving. There's no inventory moving. And we've gotten very dependent on that. So today, I also want to let you know that we have begun a new process at the Coffee Break Show. And that is we're going to have guests on Wednesdays. And my guest hopper is filled up. So don't get on there and go, I want to be a guest on your show. We're loaded with guests and we're choosing the best guests, but we are going to have a Wednesday guest that you will not want to miss. Felicia Slattery is clearly one of the best teachers, one of the funniest, most exciting speakers. She has an amazing story to tell, and we're going to give you more of that Wednesdays. We're going to be Wednesdays welcome, and we're going to welcome a new guest onto the show so you can meet some of the top experts in the world and just have fun doing it. But whatever you do right now, pay attention to the world around you. Keep yourself safe and healthy, and I will see you tomorrow for the Coffee Break Show. All the stuff you want to know about is in the descriptions down below. Thanks for being here with us today. Peace out.